guide someone in the process of learning about African spirituality?
So for those people who have either distaste or they're unfulfilled by what Christianity, and I mean that in the broader sense, because I know there are many denominations and there are many sects that are under that umbrella, including Catholicism, Islam, Buddhism, or what other kinds of non-African, religious formations. There's a place for them, and that place is a place called home. And that home is African spirituality. And I want to be very clear. Spirituality must be distinguished from religion. You see, religion is formalized dogma. And that formalized dogma basically has people, it requires you to not think. Belief requires not thinking. That's why when people don't believe, they'll say, well, you don't believe anymore? And they'll respond to you almost in an aggressive way. Why don't you believe, right? And so there's a built-in mechanism that all religions have. And that built-in mechanism is that they want you to be among the us rather than the them, right? And that dichotomy between us and them is necessary because, for a religion, it has to occupy first place in the podium. It can't share that space, that ideological space. To do so means that it will lose its membership, right? So to keep membership, it has to create this dichotomy or this distinction between us and them. And when you do that, you create those are the enemy because they're the unbelievers or they have wrong belief, which is the root of the word, meaning of the word heretic. And you, presumably, have right belief, right? That's what religion sets you up for. So when you have right belief and you don't believe anymore, or you what's called backsliding, you question your belief, right? Then you become the enemy of that religion. And people will respond to you in that way. They say, well, you're going to hell, or you can't go to heaven, or you won't be greeted by thousands of maidens, virgins with silk, or whatever mythology these religions have for you in the afterlife, right? Those mythologies all serve one purpose. They want to maintain their membership and grow that membership under that particular dogma and belief. And so, what does that mean for those of you that have allergic reactions to that belief or want to find a different way to exercise your spirituality? Well, it's simple as this. Spirituality is your connection to the cosmos that is unmediated by any priest, pastor, imam, clergy, or other religious figure. It is your direct line. Think of it as a cell phone. It's your direct line to the creative force of the universe, which is ungendered. Because it's energy. Energy doesn't have a gender, right? Force doesn't have a gender. Think about gravity. What's gender is gravity, right? It's a force, doesn't have a gender. So the creative force of the universe is ungendered, right? It's not he or she or our father or, a woman or man or a child. It's energy. And so you, by virtue of breathing, have a connection to this creative force. You have an animating force inside of you, just like I do, right? My muscles right now are not moving. My hands are not moving. My mouth is not moving because simply my muscles have, their own automation. That automation is complements of our creative force. And so we are spiritual by virtue of breathing. We're spiritual by virtue of drinking water. And so one of the most important ways in which people can, in fact, engender or enact their own spirituality is to breathe, is to meditate, quiet time, right? Is to unplug, from the modernity, the modern world, our devices. And it's also to use water. Pour libation, that is to pour water to the earth. Thank the earth for the nutrients that you derive from the food that ultimately comes from the earth. Thank the earth, for the buildings, materials that built your house or your apartment or your condo that allows you to have a place to rest, right? Water to the earth for the children, if you have children, in your life, either your own or those by way of your relatives or by way of your job if you're a teacher. Water to the earth for life. The fact that you can watch this video, right? And be engaged and have people that love and care about you, right? That's spirituality. Water and breathing. And that's what African spirituality does. Now, yes, there's more complexity to rituals. There's more complexity to certain kinds of practices that may involve drumming and dancing and festivities. But those things really are built on these two ingredients. They're built on, so when we dance, right, we are using our bodies to communicate what we do by mouth in libation. Because our feet is on the earth. And our feet our feet is telling the earth, I want to be grounded in the energy of the earth. And that's why African dances, in terms of African continental dances, usually are bare feet, right? Because we want to be one with the earth energy. And guess what? I'm from Jamaica, and I love walking bare feet, right? And people, I know a lot of people in the countryside love walking bare feet. There's something special about that connection between your feet and the soil, right? And so that's spirituality. That's African spirituality, right? Being close to earth. For the drumming, for the instrumentation, that rhythm, that movement. As we all know, or should know, no one dances on the beat. If you dance on the beat, you're gonna fall on your face, right? And people without rhythm know that. People with rhythm, you dance in between the beat. Because when you hear the beat, the body has to react. And that reaction is between the beat, and then the next beat comes, right? And so that rhythm is about life. You want to be in between, right? You don't want to be on top. You don't want to be on the bottom. You want to be in between. And that's how life works. You want to be in between, what's about to happen and what will happen. That's what African spirituality teaches us. You want to be in between that rhythm. So that rhythm that comes from the drums, right? And by the way, many African dances mimic the functions of the organ, so it's also therapeutic. So for example, one of the moves in African dance, classical moves that I'm sure when I do it, you'll recognize it, is this. That's the pumping of the valves in the heart. The valves in the heart does that. So by your body mimicking the heart, it is mimicking the very beat of life, right? That's African spirituality that is formed or clustered into African dance. That's in African rhythms and instrumentation. That's into the pouring of libation. And so Africans have a holistic sense of our being and of the world. And so one part connects to the other, and by being connected in mind, body, and spirit in a sort of triangular way, it allows you to live out a purposeful life. It allows you to be centered. And guess what? No mediation. No need to go to confession because you have a direct line with your creative force and your ancestors who know you best. And that to me, although some of the main ingredients of African spirituality that can be enacted right now. You don't need a book, you don't need a place to go, you don't need an intermediary, you don't need to have the right belief, right? You have direct access to it, and all you need to take you there is breathing and water.